Morning Bookstagrammers. I'm doing a little video today. I haven't done one in a long time, so please bear with me if I talk nonsense. I'm sitting in my garden because my son came in at 2:30 with a friend who had to sleep over, and they're in the front room asleep on the floor, and I'm locked out of my own front room. Yeah, my house used to be like that a lot when the kids were teenagers, but now they're all sort of my youngest is nearly 21, and so this doesn't happen as often as it used to, and I sort of miss having their friends around and a little bit of a trail of people coming in and out at different times of the day unexpectedly, and it's very quiet. But I've got my two youngest are back from uni, and so it's nice to have young people in the house, especially as I write YA, and I love teenagers. So let me see what I'm going to talk about today. Love Island. I'm loving it. I think it's just turned quite explosive over the last 2 nights. I love Davide and Ekin-Su. It's impossible not to, and I know they will have a really excellent future on the TV because they're just two really sort of cool people. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say about Andrew and Tasha. Yeah, I think somehow now it needs to come to an end. I felt yesterday I was in the Andrew camp because you know, even though Tasha, he felt I'd been kind of mucking him about. He put his arms around her and he said he wishes the best for her, and I think he genuinely does have feelings for Tasha. But bless her, Tasha, you know, her eye does catch every boy that comes in, and you know, she's going to lead him a merry dance anyway, I think. So I think they need to knock it on the head before he kind of he could start getting down about things and possibly even leave the show. Coco, right, I'm just flabbergasted because I mean there's been some kind of goings on in the villas in previous years, but I just find her, or I mean the bits that they've shown us on TV, obviously it's edited, but so far she's behaved deviously and I think a bit dishonestly. She really knows how to kind of kick the boot in with Andrew now that he's kind of, you know, I think if it was me and I'd been brought back into the villa and Andrew said to me, you know, he wasn't sure, he still has feelings for Tash, I think I would accept that and give him some space and see what happens over the next couple of days. I definitely would not be right in there, you know, causing havoc, but that's that. So, what have I been reading lately? Well, that summer, I don't have a lot to say about this book actually because it was a very easy read. I like the characters, but nothing happened in it, and it's one of those books where you forget it in 10 minutes, and really I passed the time away, you know, nicely reading it, but there's so many other books out there that, you know, I would have got a lot more from, and so I wouldn't recommend this book. I mean, even to a teenager, I think it's probably about the early 2000, so 2001, something like that, and you know, I think YA has come on so much in such a short space of time. You know, particularly when I wrote The Rebirth of Henry Whittle, which when it was pitched to Penguin and Bloomsbury, you know, they thought aspects of it were just too dark. And now I'm reading books and, you know, there's darkness everywhere, and I'm kind of trying to keep up with that. Now, okay, I got this book because my present manuscript is, there's an amputee as one of the main characters, and I started writing this book, it's quite a few years ago actually, after I saw a Bear Grylls' The Island, and they had a lady, ex-soldier, amputee on there, and I was so impressed with her that I thought, right, when I write my next book, I want there to be a main character as an amputee. And so I read around the subject because obviously I don't know anybody who is missing any limbs, and so I want to do the character justice. And I think this book really does do justice to the amputee character. So it's a love, the love interest is an amputee. He's an ex-soldier. He's lost one of his legs, and he comes back. He's only young, 19, 20 maybe, and he comes back to this small town where he thought he'd never come back to again. That going in the army was his escape, and it's about him coming to terms with his situation, and I think the challenges that he faced in there seemed quite realistic to me, and I really connected to Skylar and Josh, and I rooted for them, and I really enjoyed this book. So, and it's a 5-star book for me. Okay, book Girly, I loved it. This is exactly the type of book that I would have given to my teenage girls to read. Obviously, it's not in the YA section because, it is very dark, it's very intense, and even though it's a teenage girl who's going through, a certain situation, I probably wouldn't recommend it to a lot of young adults, but I think there's a certain there would be lots of young adults that would absolutely love this. It's chilling. By the end of it, I felt totally wrung out. It's a bit like when I read My Dark Vanessa. Some books, you're just going to remember for like years, and this is one of those books, and that's a 5-star, and I highly recommend it, but it is very dark. Wow, what a whirlwind this book is. It's got a female ex-FBI agent, and what's lovely is she's about my age. She's no spring chicken, but she's real kick-ass, and it's one of those race against time serial killer thrillers, and I loved her relationship with her husband. It was quite different, and I found this, it's very hard doing thrillers and serial killers. You think, well, where can I take it where it's going to be different to, all the thousands of other serial killer thrillers out there? And I think it's the characters. I think that's where you have to bring something new to the table. And I think that Becky Masterman definitely did that. I've got the second book, can't wait to read it. 5-star. So, when I write a book, depending on who the characters are, I might have to do quite a lot of reading around that subject. And obviously, I've mentioned I have an amputee as one of my characters, and I want to do that person justice. And so I buy books around the subject, and this book is absolutely, amazing. What this guy has gone through. He's a quad amputee, and it goes through his journey of medically what's happened to him, and emotionally how he's coped with it, and that was a real eye-opener, and I think I got a lot from this book to help me with my own book. This book didn't help me so much. It's highly rated, but it really was kind of what was going on in the head. I can't really explain it actually. It's more from the clinical side of things, but it doesn't actually concentrate on a specific case, and it doesn't give you like a real in-depth medical view. It's just more about the camaraderie of the team that worked in the unit. So in terms of helping me with my book, that would be more of a 2-star for me. Yeah, so I have written 2 books already. They're YA romantic thrillers. which it sounds fluffy, but my books are far from fluffy. You know, they are a bit full on. So you know, you have to grab the seat of your pants when you read them. Maybe sometimes they could be too much for some people when they're reading. It depends. You know, they're not. You know, they're easy reads. Like there's nothing. You know, they're not kind of intellectual or there's anything clever in these books. But a lot does happen in terms of. They kind of remind me. It's like a bit of a Born Identity, where it's just so much is happening. And so this is what I call my Mean Girls meets Leon or Dexter. It's about Phoenix, who has been in the care system and who's invited to stay with an uncle instead of being made homeless. But her uncle has been killed by a contract killer, and he assumes his identity. Now Phoenix has never met her uncle, so she goes to live in the house that is now occupied by a contract killer, and you have to wait and see where that story takes you. It would be great if you read it. I've put it's free on I was going to say Netflix, but Wattpad. Wish it was on Netflix. It's free on Wattpad, on Kindle Unlimited. You can buy it from Amazon, and it's on Google Books. I'm trying to get it on Internet Gallery, but they haven't contacted me back, so I don't know about that one. But really, I just want my books to be out there and for people to be reading them and giving me feedback, and maybe follow me on Instagram. That would all be absolutely lovely. So, Random Attachment, my other book. This is a girl who doesn't know her self-worth. She's on a journey really of self-discovery here, and she's very impressionable. She's a bit of a dreamer, and she kind of becomes obsessed with the boy that she sees on the train and becomes a stalker. And out there, she doesn't realise there's another person who's abducting girls, and she's caught his eye, and so the stalker's actually being stalked. And again, my books are for older YAs, because there are lots of triggers in them, and you know, they're not over the top, but I'd say they're quite realistic, especially for, you know, if you've ever lived on a London estate. You know, in fact, maybe they're toned down. So yeah, this one is on Kindle Unlimited, and you can buy it from Amazon. So that's all for me. Sorry it's been long. Take care, everybody. Hope you're all feeling great, and see you soon.